Good afternoon, everybody. This is Paula, and I am back to do part two, or video two, of the Amity Bloom style book. Now, I just use her name because you can just type in Amity Bloom, and it's going to take you to her on YouTube. So this is just a simple book like her, similar to hers. It's really different as far as how the papers are lined up. That she kind of has the papers hanging out in different places. So we might do that a little, but not a lot, because, you know, I'm a straight line person. You know how that is. I hope you guys enjoyed video one. And we're going to continue on. And I'm going to move this up because I don't think you can see as well as you should. No, you can't. Okay. I'm going to have to mark my video. Wow, that's a lot of difference, isn't it? Okay. So we're just kind of sticking with the pink and the blue every now and then, and mint green and yellow. I'm just kind of doing pastels in general, but mostly pink. Okay. So we're going to use some modeling paste so we can let it dry while we're working on other things. We're also going to use some gesso on the book. And there'll be a moment that I have to step back to the corner where the sink is to put the modeling paste stencil in the sink because I already got it full of water. Because it dries really hard pretty quick. And it will ruin your stencils if you didn't know that. That's the lesson for today. It will ruin your crazy stencils. Trying to find room. You would not believe my room right now. You know, coming back from this surgery has been really hard. It was a tough surgery. And I don't recommend it for anybody right at this point. But I love how my feet look. And I know that they're going to look great as time goes on. And I'll be able to wear real shoes. Funny story. I had to get a brace for my ankle. And that helped. But I have to wear my inserts that are in my shoes in any shoe I wear. Well, my foot can't fit in any of the shoes. You know, it's just bigger, swollen. A lot on the top, you know, so it makes it hard to get under that part of the shoe where you go from going straight down and curving up to go in to your shoe. I can't do that on I can't get my foot on in any of my shoes because of that. As soon as I get to that point, it just all stops. So they told me to go to Walmart and just find a cheap shoe in a larger size just to get you through this time of swelling. That's a joke. None of my women's shoes fit me at Walmart. None of them. There was one that's almost did, but it just felt tight across the top of my foot. Well, long story short, again, I ended up in the men's department. And you guys don't laugh, but I did. I had to. I didn't have any shoes to wear anywhere. And none of the regular tennis shoes and stuff like that would fit me. It's like they were too short across here. Even the wide fit. So, anyway, I ended up with black boots. My husband thought it'd be good because they could support my ankle also. You know, like the old Doc Martens on a 64, almost 65-year-old woman. Old woman. I was embarrassed to go into the doctor. I went from the shoe place to the doctor place. And I had these capri jeans on that split up the side a little bit and kind of left it was like there was a little triangle up my leg. You should have seen me going into the doctor with those boots. Anyway, the girls there were so sweet and said, well, don't you remember the Doc Martin days? That's what it looks like. I think you just rock. I said, I don't know about that. So let's get busy. That's enough of that. But I am going to be embarrassed if I go anywhere there's a lot of people. That was just the doctor's office. Okay, so let's do a little bit of the gesso first. That way we can go over to this. I'm not going to use gesso on them. I just kind of want to put some on the front cover a little bit. Now, I'm not having any real reason or plan as far as the gesso goes. I just think it will look cooler. I didn't do this on the last book and I forgot. I had planned on it, but I forgot. I'm not going to worry about that middle because that's where we'll put the other stuff. Hope you guys are having a great day and doing some fun crafts. It's what we do, isn't it? We're just fun crafters. You know, you have a look in your head, and then when you get the gesso going, you're like, okay, now what's going to be best? So I just kind of wanted it to not be as vintagey and have a little bit of more of a kind of white tone. Now let's do the back real quick too, because we're going to have things back there at some point. And so tell me what you guys have been up to while I've been gone. Who have you been watching? I know you don't just watch me. I don't think we have to worry about that. There's not going to be people knocking down the door. And that's okay. I don't care anymore. I decided I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to ask people to subscribe. You're not going to hear that. So choose what you want to do in this world, and you know what you like, and you know what's the stuff that people want to see. So I guess, you know, some people reach a level and you go, how on earth are those people, you know, watching this particular thing? And then you'll find out they have like 20,000 YouTubers subscribed. Okay, so that is the gesso. Oh, I might let it dry a minute, and then we can go back and put a little bit on the inside. Because if you look at the comparison of the two, see, I think I want it inside too. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I've not ever done it. So the next step we're going to do is a little bit of gesso on the vellum that's going to go on the front of each thing. I got to kind of lay some stuff underneath to see where everything's going to be, so I know which cover goes with which too. Okay, this is the front of the book. This is going to be a vintage wallpaper, and it is. And I was going to put this here, and there's clusters are going to go wherever I can find a spot. I just think it looks good. That's not the right one. This is the right one. It's what happens when you pull them out of... Well, that's too big. Oh, it's this one because it's a little longer, and you'll see why. Okay, that's in there. And that's what's in the front one, I believe. Yes. Okay. I'm going to set this aside. And we're going to put a little bit. Now, I'm not going crazy with the modeling paste because I kind of messed mine up a little bit on the other one. My modeling paste is getting old like me. Okay. Now, I'm going to put just a few little hearts here and there. And even, it's going to look like it even goes on to some things that we might not want it on, but that's okay. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit in this corner because we know we have flowers in there, right? You don't have to, you just want to make sure, oh, don't do that, please. You just want to make sure that, yeah, it was trying to mess it up. Let me fix that little part right there. Just gonna try to fix it up. I'm gonna take this one off real quick. That one off. And I'm gonna use a little wipey. See this right here? I don't like the way those look, so I'm gonna take them off too. Modeling paste in a tiny situation like this is not as easy as it is on something larger. Not for me anyway. Okay. And I'm going to put a few down here, and then we'll have this one set aside also. And that, it dries super fast, you guys. I don't know if you've used it. You can also put color in it. Did you know that? You could put a little bit of ink on the table and mix it together and you'll have a color. A lot of people don't know that. You can also buy it in a color. So, you know, that's cool too. Okay, we're getting this everywhere. I don't do this all the time anymore. I used to do it a lot and I was really good at it. I'm like, what happened? It's easy to, you know, it gets stuck down onto your stencil and your stencils can slide. And that's what happens when that happens. Okay. All right. So I'm going to wipe this off here because it's I have a new mat. Did you guys notice that? Celeste noticed it. And I didn't think anybody would know, but it is huge. It covers, oh my gosh, it's at least another half or 3/4 of another mat. So it's real long. It's 35 inches long. So I fill up. You don't have to worry about your stuff getting off the mat, you know. So I'm wiping that because I don't want my mat to get, oops, sorry. I just hit the video camera. All right. Just good old Paula, back where she came from. Okay, now we're going to quickly do this down here. And let this dry. It looks like a disaster, but it will come out just fine. And then I'll just soak my stencil. I try to keep a tub of water by, but I don't have a tub that's empty right now. And I don't have everything I need, and I want it to look as good as possible. This thing slides on that old paper. So I'm going to do like this and get what we can right here. There's no telling what we'll end up with. But hopefully goodness. See, it wants to stick. Ooh. All right, I'm going to run through this in the water. Give me a second. Oh, no. I want to put it on. No, I put it on both of them. I have one more to do. I forgot about this little lonely one here next to me. Let me wipe this off so it don't get on the front of the vellum. Okay. Put the vellum down first, Paula. I don't remember too much about where there's places to put on this one, so I'm just going to kind of do the same thing. And I'm out of camera, aren't I? This paper is sliding. I only use it when I use mixed media products. I don't want to mess anything up everywhere. So this mat can tolerate it. Okay. And Yeah, you're not really supposed to do this, but I'm going to do just a little bit right there. And then I'm going to put this in the sink. I have a great cleanup area. Don't know what I'd do without it. Okay. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is move this out of the way. Okay. And lay this right here. And then I'm going to get these little specks off of this. And I just noticed on my other one, there's some right in the middle. Well, that's not going to work. Yeah. It's a messy thing to work with, but I don't usually get this messy. I'm looking at this thinking, oh my word, you need help. Someone needs to teach you. No, I know how to do it. It's just, I don't usually do it in this small a version of modeling paste. So I'm going to take that and kind of push it down and then move this out of the picture. I don't really worry about it being perfect. I just kind of want you to be able to see through the vellum, because we're going to do a little see-through thing. I'm moving these to the side somewhere and moving this to the side, and I'm going to throw these into the tub. It's just right, literally right by me, by where I'm at right now. So I'm going to take this spatula and put it in some water because I'll be using it again. Okay, here we go. I'll be right back. Talk to yourselves, as Gail says. I'm a-coming. Sorry, guys. You know, sometimes things don't always go as you plan. Okay, we have gone 20 minutes to do that. That's all right. Let's wipe that off of here and put the lid back on it so it doesn't get everywhere. It's already trying to dry up. The thing about modeling paste, don't buy giant containers unless you use it all the time, because it just gets hard. I had to go really deep into the bottle to get some that was even whippy, like whipped cream, you know. I'm trying to clean it off of my mat because it's brand new. You know, you like it to look pretty for a little while. It's really impossible. Mine was super bad, though. That black one, oh my goodness. But, you know, that was one of those cheap ones that Amazon had. They don't have those anymore. I remember getting one that was like $14 from Amazon, and they don't have those anymore. So today, what we're working on, obviously, is the cover. All the little goodies that go on the cover. I have to remember which ones go with which. Anyway, so we'll add some gesso to the other side. I might not add as much. I don't know if this is going to be too wet or not. I think I'm going to hit it with the glue, heat gun. Just a minute. I know you're already bored, aren't you? I just want you to see the process. You can use modeling paste on just about anything because it dries really fast. Now, I'm not going to tell you it won't come off someday if it's not put on properly or something, but you can also get embossing paste that you can get it with color in it, and like little glisten, kind of looks like glitter, but it's just kind of a shine, and those are pretty too. I just didn't have the color I wanted, and I wanted to stick more to the neutral colors. But there'll be times they will be bright. Bright times coming. Okay. Let me get some gesso. And we're not going to do as much. We're just going to kind of hit it. Especially like on the corners and stuff. Because we've got this little book that we're going to make to put on the front. Or kind of a flip out. And it's really cute. I think you'll like it. And then there's going to be a surprise that goes into the, what is it called? Inside the journal. I kept thinking, what am I thinking? Anyway, I plan on doing a lot of different things that we haven't done before. And I know it's still July, and so I want to do one Christmas project, so I may jump in one of the next videos and do that before I actually we're done with that. So we're just going to set here and set this aside and let it dry. Try to let it dry on its own, or mostly, and then we'll continue on with that. Now, we are going to work on putting the front cover together and so we're not going to be using any more of that stuff. And we're hoping that, you should see my hands before I wiped them off in there. Scrub them off is what the truth is. Okay, now we're at 23 minutes. That wasn't too bad, right? So I'm going to show you on this what we're going to do. You see how the vellum is on, the vellum has the modeling paste, and I didn't do that great a job right here because I accidentally put my arm in it. So it'll look better. We're going to add this lace, this embossed paper, and pockets and belly bands and everything on these 3 papers. See, it's 3. And we're going to put some pretty cards and stuff in there. And then we're also going to put this lace across the front and go from there. And that's the first thing we're working on. And then I'll show you when we start the next one what we're going to do. I got to get a drink. Excuse me. For some reason, I don't have the moisture I'd like to have. Okay, so this goes with this. Let me see where we're at. That goes in the back. This goes in the back. Okay, and that goes over there, I believe. Okay, so we're going to start with the front. And I don't know. We'll put this lace down in just a second on our book. I'm going to give it a minute to dry. But isn't that pretty lace? If you don't know it, this lace you can buy at Hobby Lobby. You can watch their sales because this is prettier than anything I think they've ever had as far as lace. And I like it because you can drape it and do whatever. Now, I've been working on an album for my granddaughters that has these roses in it, and this was part of it, and I wasn't using it. There was like 10 of these to choose from. So I thought, wouldn't that be pretty on here? And put the vellum on here after you decorate on the inside, which is, I think this is it, but I gotta have my, you know, it's hard to tell sometimes. I know this is for, this is for the front of the book. Let me just make sure I don't have something in the wrong place. Okay. Okay. So, we're going to take the vellum that works best for this front one Or is it the other one? While I'm figuring that out, I'm going to let this get dried a little bit. You know, sometimes this will puff up a little bit when you dry it. But mostly it's just, it stays. And it dries pretty fast. That heat gun just ripped my ribbon, so I'm going to have to cut another piece. And they'll blow up and have little blisters on them if you're not careful. And they look crazy when you first start using them. So the first thing I want to do is put the vellum on the back of this. Okay. And I just need to make sure I've got the right vellum. And of course, like I told you, it's going to go far over. And we want to use some Fabri-Tac. I know that will hold it down. Now, some of these aren't going to show. Probably the better ones. And that's okay. You just do the best you can. And my Fabri-Tac is very slow today. Now, I'm going to glue around the whole thing so it attaches to my little frame. You can buy these little frames. They're by Simple Stories. And you can go to scrapbook.com. They have all kinds of them. And these are called Simply Vintage Garden District. So you'll know Garden District Simply Vintage. Okay, so these are going to go on the same side as this decoration, but I'm going to move it over as far as I can on this frame in the back. That way we'll get to see more of them. Now, I didn't do perfect. I've been having it pretty rough the last few days, and so I just got up here to prep prior to my video because I just had to lay down a little bit this morning. Oh, and look, you could hardly see them at all. But we don't want a lot of it. The idea is to have just a little bit. And I really could have gone without doing the Mosh Posh, not Mosh Posh, the modeling paste. But the reason I didn't is because I like the effects that this gives. And you just clean it up a little bit, get the vellum off. And you know, sometimes it gets on the other side. You just flip it over, get it off over there. If it will let you, just use your nail if you have to, but be gentle. I think it'd look better if I could clean it up. And this is exactly why I was telling you vellum can be difficult. I'm going to shoot a little bit of heat here. Kind of dry that up. That little spot is not going anywhere. I'm going to hold it up higher so it doesn't wrinkle anymore. It does wrinkle a little bit, just so you know. But that's the start of that, okay? The next thing we're going to attach is this little bird picture. And I couldn't decide where to put it. So I wanted to make sure this was centered on it. I hope you can see that. It's got your vintage wallpaper, and it is old. And then I was going to put it up here, and I changed my mind. Or I put the stuff where I didn't expect to put it. But I want this little bird in here because I think these little birds are cute. So center them there, right here. And I did ink everything so we wouldn't have to do it on camera. So where's my glue? There's my glue. It's trying to volcano. That means it's getting closer to the end. I will fill this up before I do the next video. Okay, so we're going to put the little birds here, right side up. And you want to allow for the frame. You don't have to do this frame. You can do just the vellum, piece of paper, cut around it, make like a little frame. That's what I did in the first one. You can't really see it, but there is. And I did stitch all of these at some point. And I'm not going to stitch on here because it would just take away from us getting to see as much as we can. I'll stitch it after. And so here we go. Here's how this part looks. I think that's all the pieces. And I was having a hard time deciding if I wanted to put some music sheet in there. So let's just look and see now. And I was thinking over in this area somewhere, maybe even covering over this little guy. No, I don't like that. Don't like it. So, I have these little roses that came from a medieval mirage. And I just punched them out. And I thought I could just put them as little details. I inked them already, but you can glue them on these little tags and they look so cute. All you do is add some Fabri-Tac or whatever glue of your choice. Okay. All right, let me turn this around. And you'll have to go up on the gold or silver a little bit. I knew it was silver, but did you hear me say gold? Yay, Paula. Okay, there we go. Now, instead of putting everything inside here, we can put one of these somewhere, you know. I don't know where yet, but I'll have to see how it looks as we go along. I don't know about that. But that's how you put those together. And I thought we would add some of this stitched, but can't do that. So right now, we're going to flip this over. We can find the right side of our lace. This one's a hard one. And you want the right side this way. And we're going to attach it here. And the further out you can attach it, the better. And I'll tell you why. Because you want it to kind of hang over your, what is it called? The side of your book page and down on the book itself. Whoops, there you go. That's what happens. Okay, there. I'm trying to even it up here, make sure it's nice and straight. I'm going to flip it over. When you hang stuff like this, if you have the opportunity to hide the back, like I'm going to do here, it's better. And I'll trim up the edges when necessary. I didn't want to put a half of a heart on there. And this is why the hearts here are why I wanted to put hearts on that. And so now I'm going to center this up and attach it with a little bit of glue, because later I will stitch it. I think I probably would be better off just waiting, because then I could stitch him as well, right? So you guys are getting the picture, I know. Okay, so that's the back, and then we'll add, after we add this paper here, I hope you guys can see. There's your vintage wallpaper. After we add that, we'll add the back, which needs to be a thin chipboard. And then you just, that's what is going to attach it to the book once you get it all covered. Now, because it's going to be attached like a book, this is going to flip this way. And this is what you'll see. On that side, we're going to bring some bright in to the book. A little bit of paper. You cover this portion, ink around your edges, and this will be stitched down. You can stitch it down separately so it's not hard on your machine. Just stitch it here. Be sure and ink it. I missed this, so I need to ink it. And ink around the edges, okay? If you like that. If you don't like the inking, don't ink. So I want to make sure this isn't hanging down in the front of these flowers, because that's where the front cover is. Now, at some point, we'll be adding the next page, the next page, the next page. But let's get the two fronts done first. Okay, I'm going to bring out the other one. This is going to be just inside the book. So you're going to have a little album right here. I did not do an album in this one, but I'm going to in the one that we're making. I just made a front with some vellum. I did not do any vellum techniques on the one on the inside. These are vintage things. And then this just folds out like a, it's like a journal, but it's got heavy cardstock on the back, and then this is the center one, and this is what attaches. So we're going to do it different. You're like, Paula, really? We are. I just want it to be more like a journal. And what we're going to do here is we've got random papers all through this, quite a few. We're going to do it like a journal, okay? And make sure all your stuff is down in the right spot. Now, I'm going to use a big paper clip like this. And you don't want them to be perfect. They don't have to be perfect. So you want to do it like this so you can poke your hose and get it as perfect as you can. I'm not going to use a heavy, where'd my, there, good. I can lose anything. My husband came in here with something to lie down on my table. He looked there and he couldn't find a place. He looked there. He went all over this table, these two tables, and said, "Girl, you got a lot of mess in here." And I said, "I know. Don't judge me. I'll get it done. I always do." So I'm going to just do a 3. And I'm not measuring those because it's not necessary for something this small. I'm going to get the string right here. Find my needle. This is a heavier skirt. It's more like a, what is it more like? I can't remember, but it's tough compared to other things. And so I'm going to string it through and do it like I'm binding it, which would be 3 lengths of the book. I always get more than I need because I'm always paranoid. I'll cut a bunch off and then not be able to use it. Do you do that? It's real easy. Okay, now let's pray I can get this through the needle head. You know, when you're under pressure, you can't do it as fast. But when you're stitching under your light, I don't know, there's just something about, there's such a big difference. Of course, the thread is much smaller. Okay, let's get the bigger needle. I didn't want to. I don't have my threader with me. I have it down by my stitching, just in case. I'm working on a beautiful book right now. I've got it all slow stitched, and that is the truth. The whole front is it looks like snow coming down. It's really pretty. So we're going to go through here as soon as I poke a hole into our little book. Start with the middle. I'm just going to leave it lying here and go in here and poke it and try to get it completely through. It helps if you have like an old book behind it, but it's not that big a deal. This is easy compared to most. Then you're going to go to your next one, do the same thing. Goal is to get on the spine like that. Okay. I've got vellum in this, tea stained, coffee stained, and I've got avocado stained paper. Music sheet. So that should be pretty easy. Okay. Now, let's try getting this needle threaded. Thought I did already. What happened to my needle? There it is. Goofy lady. Lord, 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 let me get back to normal. Let me walk more normal. Listen, my balance is really bad. And that's what I'm most concerned about. My husband, he's the one that gets me up the stairs. Don't tell my doctor. But I can climb them. That is okay. I'm going backwards. What is my deal? Let's start over. You go down, then up, then across down to this other one. Now, there's a lot of people that have instructions on how to bind a book. I'm really not trying to teach that today. But I thought I'd throw it in there. I told you I was going to try to do everything except the sewing. I do have my machine right next to me, but I can't. It just slows down the video too much, honestly. And I'll show it again to you in the next video when it's been sewn, so that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so I think I got it in there. No guarantees. Now you tie a double knot. You go to the left, over and under. Tighten it, and then you go from the left to the right, over and under. And that's how you tie your knot. Okay, let me see what's what here. Okay, there we go. And this is just going to be a simple little bow I'll tie in the middle. Take the clip off. And this is just to jot little notes or do whatever you want with it. It's just an extra little surprise for the owner when they open it, unless they're watching this video. Okay, here we go. All right, so now we're closed up here. I will ink around this. I should just do it. I think it's the only thing I forgot. There might be something else, but I'm just going to ink the outside. Because it really doesn't have to have much ink, just in the places that are very obvious. And this is a very light antique linen. I mean, it comes on the paper very light. Because this is a new pattern, I can't tell a whole lot difference. Just on the very edges. I just think cut paper does better. Okay, there's that. So antique linen is the ink we're using. And I already inked all these papers here. Okay. So, I'm going to show you a couple things. Got this is the ephemera that we're going to use. Antique wallpaper again. Just with the stripes because we don't need the floral this time. And we're going to attach it in the center here with a little bit of glue. because we'll put the vellum on last. Now, I'm just gluing in the middle because I'm going to stitch eventually. I mostly just want to show you how you... Listen, when I did this, had never done it before, I just sat down and got this chipboard and just had a good old time. I just wanted to relax and do something with you guys you might enjoy. Okay. Alrighty. Pretty, pretty. At least I think so. And we're going to go ahead and cover the back of this also with just some scrap paper. And I'll show you what we do with that in a minute. Wait a minute. Let's wait a minute for that. I just realized that we don't want to do that yet. So we're going to put the inside things, such as this beautiful flower from Amity Bloom, actually. I'll try to remember to link her below so you can find her shop. And her videos are wonderful. If you like a sweetheart, a little young, sweet girl, I mean, she's out of college, but she is doing great on YouTube. And if you haven't seen her, oh my gosh, I'm surprised. She gets all this stuff from France, and I don't know how she does it, but she has lots of good antique wallpapers and papers, and she has wonderful digitals. This is one of them. This is a fussy cut flower set. It comes 4 of these to a paper, and it is so worth it if you have not gotten them. I'm going to play with them, decide which direction. I want it to look flat up against here, you know, right to the edge. And I think that will look good. Now, I've got to quickly get this under there. It's just a tag. I needed to bring some more blue down, and I thought it would be better just to grab a blue tag. I'm going to hurt this stupid glue if it don't work. You have to behave. Okay, now these things are not going to be, the flowers and so forth will not be jotted or stitched down. I just forgot to raise that up, and I hope it will raise up for me now. It may not. It may say, no way, lady, you're just too slow. I'm really not. I just want it to go on there and give that a chance to pop some blue out. Do you know what I mean? Let's see if this little thing will work. Just to raise it up a little bit. That Fabri-Tac doesn't waste any time looking like a powerful dude. I'm going to see if this will help me, if I can push it under. A little more. I want it in there a little more. There we go. I have to clean this off now. Okay, so it's going to look like this. And then I found this word, believe. I just think, I just love that word. Because it can work for anything. Just believe in yourself. You can believe in whatever. I believe in God. I believe in myself and my children. I believe in them. I don't have to worry about them constantly because they do such a good job at what they're doing. And I'm so proud of them, and they're so, I don't know how I got off on that. But what mother doesn't want to brag on their child, right? And you can, anytime you want, to me in your comments. You can ask me anything you want if you think something is confusing and doesn't make sense about this. Now, those are 2 different blues, and I don't even care. But isn't that pretty? Isn't it going to be pretty? I think it will. Now, it will have its piece of vellum. Where did it go? And we'll be gluing it down too. But it will end up, you know, everything's going to be flat when we're done. This will all flatten out when I pull it and stitch it, okay? Now, I know it's kind of covering up her ticket. That's all right. I'm not going to worry. That ticket was hard for me to decide to put there, but I forgot to lay the vellum over first to see where I had it so I'd know what was going to be covered up. And this will flatten out when I stitch around it. Okay, so this is complete. We glued the back. Now we need to glue the back on. So I'm going to turn it over for a second. Oh, we forgot one thing. At the bottom of this, we're going to do embossed paper. Now, since the other paper is not glued on yet, I can glue it back here. And you want to glue it, you don't want it sticking up like a whole piece of paper. You want it to look like just like it just hangs down from there. And I like that angle. Okay, so we're going to glue it right there. And oh, you do want it to be straight on the back if you can. It'll look nicer. Let me see. That's pretty. Now we're much closer to the edge. You want to do that before you put your paper on here because that will cover up anything that you want it to cover up as far as the imperfections or something. Yeah, I'm really low on Fabri-Tac. I've got to get some, put in my bottle. Or grab out a bottle if it gets necessary. So what I did is I just glued down one half. You have to hold it a minute. And then you can do the other half. And then immediately turn it over and make sure it's positioned like you want. Because, you know, this is the only chance you have of correcting it. Fabri-Tac gives you a little bit of time, and it gives you some glue right there. Okay. Isn't that pretty? Oh my goodness, if my vellum doesn't turn out right, I may have to redo it. It's kind of, it's just, I don't know. It's not, it was heat gunned. That's what the problem is. Okay, so now we're going to, got it flipped over. We're not going to put the white one on yet. So we're going to do it, turn it over to this side. And then we're going to be more prepared to add our paper. But we're going to be adding another page to this. Okay? Just like this. And we're going to need some cloth here to connect them. So you glue that on. It's just up to you. You can glue it on before or after you glue the back side down. But I want it to kind of look hidden. You'll be able to see it. One strip here and right here. Because this is going to be covered up by some scrap paper. It's a good way to use your scraps up too. Now, this is nice and straight. It doesn't matter how straight it is for the front, really. I just want to make sure we have plenty for the other side that's going to connect to this. Okay. Get the sticky off of me because I'm sticky. Okay. Now, I'm going to take this letter, which is turned sideways because I think I like this paper a lot. And I don't want it to look, you know, I don't want it to look bad. And this, like I said, this whole thing will be stitched. And the front will be stitched. We're just doing the front page, and then I'll show you how to connect them, which is what I did with the muslin. Don't go so close that you can't sew it on your machine, but you want it to hold down. So that's what I'm doing. Let's go at the top first. Make sure it all gets covered. Your sides will kind of pop up because they've got to be stitched. Okay, so now that side is taken care of. It'll be stitched, and once we stitch it, I'm going to add this, just so you know, these little flowers across here. And I'm going to trim that little pink thing off there. Guess somehow it popped out. Okay, Grammy, get under there. My little granddaughter just called me. She's adorable. She FaceTimed me. Grammy, what are you doing? She'll be 14 in August. So you know, she's going to a new school this year. So she's real nervous. And I remember that feel. That really looks pretty on there too, doesn't it? We may turn around and put it on there as well. But it's going to go right here for now. This one will. We'll go on this. And then we'll glue that after. I'll just glue it down there. We'll have to fix the size. Okay, so I'm going to lay that right there. And that will be on whenever I'm through sewing, or it may get stitched through. I try to stitch as much as I can on it, any embellishments as well. It just kind of helps, you know, for long term. That needle does not want in there. So, there we go. So, this is going to be, oh my, I forgot to put my, no, this is the inside one. I keep thinking it's the outside one. It's pretty, though. It could be the outside. Okay, so this one doesn't have room, but now I need to attach it to, you know what? I don't want it on that side. It needs to be on this side. Oh, Paula, I'm going to leave it there for now because it wants to tear off everything. So it will show over here because I'm not going to... Oh, I have plenty of room to put it over here. So I'll grab another one. I have a few of them cut. I need them. I'm thinking I did it on this side. See, this is just the second time I've done this. So it's kind of... I'll put it further back as I can because of the stitching. Where did my little... There it is. Don't be hanging out over there. That one's wrong. So you want to get it as far up to the top as you can and all the way down to the bottom if possible. Unless you want the binding to be shorter than the paper. I don't like it sticking out, so I will clip off this end of it because it wants to stick out. We'll just cut it off before it has a chance. That was crooked, but it'll be okay. I'll straighten it whenever I can, which is going to be now, evidently. You'll agree it looks better once I get it off of there. Okay, I'll straighten this little end up. These used to be my sewing scissors, but my sewing scissors when I was trying to cut things with all my other scissors, I couldn't cut ribbon and lace. And so I just asked for new scissors for Christmas. And I got them, new sewing scissors. Aren't they beautiful? I'm trying to see who they're from. Ginger, Italy. That's what it says. They look like something from Italy. Okay. And then again, this will go across here. And I'll get this straightened out over here when I start putting the book together. Now, I'm hoping to show you that here in a minute, but I don't know how smooth it's going to go. Now, we're going to need, I'm still thinking this is the wrong side, but no, it's not. So this is going to be, we got the back covered there. We're going to glue this here. Listen, when I did the first one, the first one of these fronts and hooking the pages together, my head was bouncing all over the place. I should have probably took some notes to remind me. But I think the more you do something, I do better with just physically doing it, you know. Because I've wanted one of these books forever. But I like buying other people's books. I haven't bought one in a long time. I need to do that. I need to just go look at different shops. So that's going to glue on there. And this, okay, I got what I'm doing now. Here we go. So it goes like this. This is the inside. And this one is going to be attached. Now this is our journal. We're going to add our journal in here. So I need to leave a space right there for the journal. Okay. Some of these will not get stitched if the glue doesn't allow, but it won't be a problem. Now when I flip this over, you'll see that this muslin that I use for the binding, or the spine actually is what it is. I'm going to do this on here first. I'm trying to think, do I want to put this on there or put it on the back? I'm going to put it right here. And if I need to cut it, I can cut it. Okay, let's trim it up a little bit to make it a little bit even. Now this is where we're going to put our second embossed paper, the white that I had out here somewhere. Where did you go? Okay. My good. Oh, I know why I can't find it. I was going to have us make one together. So you just emboss a regular size piece of paper, 4 by 6, I guess. And you want the emboss here on the front. Now you want one side as straight as possible. And then you're going to start on the side, very edge. And you're going to kind of just start turning it how you know, so it'll look like it's hanging somewhere. Doesn't matter if it goes up and down, crooked. It just adds character to the book. So it just is really pretty the way it hangs out. And you just make another curve here, and you curve it to fit the size of book or edge that you're putting this on. Like if it's too short, you just do it a little different. Then you just add a little bit of ink. I haven't even tried it yet, but this is how I did it. Just add a little bit of ink on both sides, not a lot. Okay, now we've got this one down here. We don't want it on the same piece, but over here we can have it, and you see it's too big, so I gotta take about more than I thought off right here, and you just follow the same trail. It's kind of what I do when I have to take some off. You don't have to necessarily take it off the bottom, see? You just take it off the side and get that different look. Yeah, that needs to come off. It's driving me crazy, little thing. Okay, so I could have glued that inside like I did this one. You want this facing the front. So this is the back cover, but you still want this facing the front because you will see it whenever you flip the book over and close it. You will see where everything goes. So I might just do